Welcome to the Seeking Heaven channel. This is Tamara, and I hope you're having a great day, and thanks for joining me. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. Please subscribe and watch past episodes. I have over 300 and something, 50, I don't know how many I have, videos. Please watch those. I have spiritual lessons, terrific spiritual guests and hosts, ascension leaders, opinion leaders of today's times. So thank you for being here. I want to give you a couple announcements that are very exciting, and we're going to jump into it. I wanted to let you know that on July 8th that I am going to be on the weekly series, which is Classify, which is the iconic, which is the iconic brand, which you're familiar with, David Icke, and the fantastic filmmaker Richard Willett. And I'm going to be on there July 8th. Just did a phenomenal interview with him today. Really love his work. He's going to be on the Seeking Heaven channel, so stay tuned on that. Super excited. So watch that. Also subscribe to Iconic. They have some very interesting spiritual talks about conspiracy, which used to be conspiracy myth, and now it's like a fact. So, to find out the latest of what's going on, check that out. Also, check out my Ascension School, which is academyofdivinewisdom.com, where you can get free and paid for classes. There are some free ones, and also a free Christ-like meditation, as well as how to channel divine wisdom. And you can see my style in teaching. I also have spiritual services under the same place, Academy of Divine Wisdom /services. I have starseed services, as well as mediumship, which you will find at the Southern Belle Medium.com site. And always, please subscribe to the Seeking Heaven channel, make comments. Love to write you back and respond to any questions or comments you have. And check out my Seeking Heaven store. seekingheavenstore.com, as well as one more announcement, very, very exciting. I hope you can join me on the Galactic Origins cruise with Portal to Essential and Divine Travels. That's Neil Gar, as well as Susan Stomsky, that are hosting this for the Galactic Origins cruise. And I will be talking about At Sea with Cirrus B, as well as channeling the Sirian nations, and be teaching you how you can speak your own light language and what planet you're from. So I've got some workshops, I've got some talks, maybe even might be doing a medium demonstration. We'll see how it goes, but a really fun-packed seminar at sea. Use my name. You get a free reading for $325, but you have to use my name when they say who referred you. So you've got to use my name to get that. And whoever is with you on this ship that's under your name, they will also get the $325 psychic medium reading. All right. And then Lemuria is coming up. I'll be speaking on that and about the angelic beginnings of Lemuria and my memories there. That will be July 27th through 28th at portal2ascension.org. That's portal2ascension.org. Okay, here we are. So finally, I want to talk to you about the 8 symbols and signs of spirit. Now, I just got through doing a medium demonstration, a couple days ago, and some of these things did come out. And I want to tell you that spirit, your loved ones that have crossed over, that could be friends or family or pets, quite honestly. I mean, that they communicate to and with you through symbols and signs. They usually don't go, "Hey, Bob, this is Lisa. How you doing?" They don't do that. But I'm going to go over some ways where you can see, and you usually feel it in your heart center. You're like, ooh, and it's usually quick and it's sweet and it's loving. Okay. So it's not creepy at all. This is love really from heaven, as I talk about a lot. So the first thing would be nature. They like to communicate through nature, because isn't nature part of the divine, part of the beautiful God's consciousness and creation? So they'll talk to you through cardinals. Many times I'll be outside and I'll see 2 cardinals playing back and forth. I saw a couple pairs of cardinals playing back and forth in my backyard, and I thought, oh, that's just so beautiful. But when I see that, I think about my grandparents. Sometimes when they come in pairs, they are like grandparents' parents. So cardinals are generally a sign of spirit. Of course, you may be in an area that they don't have a lot of cardinals, and other birds like doves or other birds can be representative of the same type of thing. Butterflies, especially clusters of butterflies. Although if a butterfly comes close to you and it keeps hovering around, that's also another sign. Butterflies are very common for that kind of thing. Also, dragonflies. I was in the parking lot and I looked out in the parking lot. I said, that is very strange. And there was like, I don't know, like 50 dragonflies. And I was like, that's odd. I was like, what's that all about? Or I've had them like in the pool when I'm there and they'll come land and they'll like, oh, who are you, little fella? And they'll land and say, hey. So know that dragonflies can also be another form of communication. And sometimes it's your family. They're letting you know, I'm okay, I love you. Or it's just little sweet ways of encouraging you. Flowers, another way. When you look outside flowers, you're like, that flower's never bloomed. Look at it blooming now. I'll never forget a reading I did at this house. And I remember driving up and it was this grandiose home. Really, it was like big and it kind of flared out to the sides like a library. And I was like, my goodness, where am I going? And it used to be it was a car dealership franchise owner that owned the place, and his family was there, all, like families, cousins, all that. Was a big to do. I was reading for about 30 something people. Still remember how amazing these people were. Love these people, so nice. Well, the spirit people, I like them a lot too, but the people I like. So I'll go in, they greet me, sit down. In the meantime, they had some flower they had gotten from Hawaii 5-6 years ago. It never bloomed. The time I was there in those 3 hours reading that family and spending time with them, the flower bloomed. It was amazing. And that was the sign. They had so much evidence, and that was one way. The other would be, so the first one's nature. Second would be music. Music comes through a lot. And that could be you turn on the radio, you go, oh my gosh, that's her song. Or it could be the lyrics like, I love you, I'll never stop loving you, I'm always with you. You're like, whoa, that feels like they're so close. They're probably sitting beside you in the car. So the lyrics, it could be or could be the song, could be the music, could be, the song itself is a memory, or it could be that the song is special to both of you, or it could be the lyrics, or it could be all of it. So music is one they use a lot. And far as another way, you can also hear light etheric music. Like if you wake up and you hear light etheric music, that's another thing too, that sometimes they'll work with music in your dreams, or types of music. Like if they like 50s music, you may hear Rock Around the Clock, or if they like, big band, you may hear big band music. You may wake up and go, why am I thinking of big band music? And that's their way of communicating. So the third one would be photos. They really like the photos because the memories in photos, right? So when they show me as a medium, they'll show me an image many times. There's a black and white photo and you're sitting outside and you're on like a bench and in the background's a ship. And they go, oh yeah, we got that picture. And so they'll show pictures of themselves being young because they like how they look. And it's a celebration of them and that life. They're like, look at me, look at that, look how good I look. And many times they'll say, look at that. That's how I look now. I look like that now. Okay. So they'll do that. They also may show in a particular occupation, like that's me in my police uniform, or that's me in my Navy uniform, or that's me in my wedding picture. And so that when you're looking at a photograph and you go, oh, look at them right there, they're there. Just almost always. They're like, oh yeah, look, I look good, don't I? Or look at that. Wasn't that a great time? We had some laughs that day. So the photos really tie you together. Number 4 is sentimental items. They're not generally necessarily what I found to be monetary. It's sentimental. So that would be Bibles, like something that's passed through the family for century. Bibles. It could be like other things, like I've gotten Jewish like scarves that have for like a rabbi was given to the family. I mean, so these kinds of things, bookmarkers that go in religious books, I've seen that, as well as pearls. Like if your grandmother had the pearls and then your mom had the pearls and then you got the pearls, and the pearls don't even have to be real. Okay. It's just or that you like wearing pearls every day, and your aunt used to like pearls too. So it's something that ties you together. Pens will come through. I've had pens, writing pens, and pens you put on your lapel. Baby shoes, I'm just giving you examples. There's so many things. Baby shoes came through in the reading 2 days ago. And the baby shoes, he was talking about the baby shoes. The grandmother was doting over him and said, "Did these baby shoes exist?" Yeah, they're in the cabinet. They're in the closet. Mom didn't keep my baby shoes, but this is to show evidence in this world. The baby shoes, oh, he was precious. I was there when he was born, and you still have them. That's evidence. So that ties that in. I was there when he was born, and he means so much to me. So the baby shoes, guitars have come through, musical instruments, lockets. That was one. There's a locket and a lock box, and they said, no. They said no. I said, okay, well, just go. Let me know. On top, locket, 2 pictures of the grandparents, older. So, spirit people, I'm not arguing with them. They know, right? So when they tell me, I'm like, you need to go figure it out, because it means something. Watches come through a lot, pocket watches. Honestly, it really could be anything. It could be an old sewing machine. That's come through in a reading, where the sewing machine was the great-grandmother, just so the grandmothers, the mothers, and now they want you to have it. And so that's one. Also, money. Money is one that comes through. I know it's a bit odd thing, and I'd rather say coins, like pennies from heaven. You've heard of that. So pennies, if you get a penny and you see it right in front of you, like, that wasn't there a minute ago. What's that all about? You pick it up. Yeah, it's dirty, but pick it up. Take your chances. Live on the edge. Pick that penny up and pick it up and look at the date. Is it, 1972? Is that an important year? Was that someone that was born, or an event happened? Or you look at it, you see what that says. If it's a quarter and I find it, I'll pick it up. I'll turn around and I'll see what state. And if it says like Arkansas, I'm like, what's going on in Arkansas? And sometimes I'll meet someone eventually from Arkansas, but sometimes that's a message. So I always look at the date and the imagery. Sometimes dollars can be thrown at you, and it's a way of saying abundance is coming your way. But it's just their way of being in contact with you. I have heard of coins manifesting in midair and falling in front of someone. I haven't experienced it. If that happens, I'm holding out my hat. But but they can do things with coins. I've heard that manifested in front of someone on the table. So that's a higher level thing a spirit can do, is manifest, or abortation, where they take your car keys in one room and then they put it in another room. And sometimes I had a grandfather that came through for someone that was like that, and he thought it was like doing magic tricks. He thought it was so funny. So that's pretty cool. That's pretty high level if they can do that. Now, one thing that comes through, that's number 6, is things with transportation. And I'm just trying to think of a catch-all word for it, but that would be like cars. Sometimes they'll point out, remember that Chevy I had? Remember that Corvette? Remember that, Alfa Romero? Remember that so-and-so? Oh, he like really sleek, small little cars, Porsches and Alfa Romeros. Oh, yes. That was in a reading that came through. And he goes, yes, this guy was very suave. And I said, yep. That's what he liked to drive. He drove like cars like a spy would drive, and he dressed like that, and in suits like James Bond. And they were like, yeah, so cars can come through, bikes can come through. They say, remember that bike that I had? Thank you so much. Bikes can come through. A scooter came through in the reading a couple of days ago. Einstein was on a scooter. It was really not really a scooter, it was a pogo stick. But anything of this sort, hang gliding. That can come through. Motorcycles. If you see a motorcycle and you go, oh my gosh, that looks identical to my uncle's, but I've not seen one since. Why is that there? Why do you think that's there? For some reason, spirit made that guy park that bike right in front of you. They'll also do it with people. I went to a convention. My father had just passed, and I go in the convention, and it was freaking canny how much a guy in the audience looked just like my dad. And so I finally said, I'm sorry to stare at you by the second day. I just had to gather the nerve. And I said, I'm sorry to stare at you, but you look exactly like him. I'm trying to find a picture. He goes, I do look like him. I said, do you mind if I get a picture? Because my mom wouldn't have believed it. So I took a picture and I showed her. She goes, he's a little thinner, but wow, they do favor a lot. They'll do that as well. So number 6 is transportation. Number 7 is smells, where you have perfume, soaps, essential oils, cigars, cigarettes. So a lot of times you may also smell a phantom scent, like, gosh, I woke up and everything it smells like cigarettes in here, but we don't smoke. But you got to ask yourself, who did smoke? You're like, well, my grandfather, but he quit when he was older. Well, he sure liked it most of his life. The only reason he quit is because his doctor told him he had to. All smokers, they don't apologize. I don't know why. They usually don't stop. If they stop, it's generally too late. I mean, it just sucks. I mean, it's just the way it goes. I mean, that's just, every reading, they like it. So that's important. It may come up, clove cigarettes, cigars, essential oils, whatever smell they smelled. This smells like Chanel number 5. My grandmother wore that. So that kind of thing. And it could go further, these combinations of things. I'm just giving you an example. I mean, you could get a scent in the mail and go, oh, that's a scent she wore. You know how they put it in the magazines? It can come in different forms, or someone else can wear it and you smell it. It could come in different ways. It doesn't have to always be mystical. So the next one would be the final, number 8 is food and drink. And because your loved ones in heaven cannot really partake in the food and drink like with an earthly vessel, right? With a flesh and bones and all this, they can't. They're an etheric heavenly body. They like to pretend and mock up food a lot. But when they're in heaven, they can't have grease and fried foods and chocolate and wine or whiskey, or not that they want to be in heaven wanting to liquor it up. But the point is, these are human condition things that, this is what people in this human life do. They have a beer, they have chocolate cake, they eat that fried food that's bad for them. And so they will mention food, and sometimes food can be a trigger. It could be, oh, that tastes just like my grandmother's coconut cake. And then you're like, well, they're trying to get you to remember them. But I will tell you that food comes up an awful lot in readings, and it always confuses the heck out of the living people. My thing with being a medium is getting living people to understand how they communicate, and which is so much bigger and broader than we do. But they just don't like, hey, how's it going? I mean, they can talk, but they talk more in symbols and so forth. And they do talk about food a lot because think about when we're together as families, if we're having a picnic or a family gathering or at the holidays, they'll name who cooked what and whose food was better with the banana pudding or what have you, and whose wasn't very good. And you think, but that's evidential, right? Because you're like, oh, I remember their pie was horrible. Okay. And then you go, but her banana pudding, my grandmother's was the best, right? So people remember that. So it ties you together. It also ties us together with tradition, and they love tradition and sentimentality. Anything sentimental, food, and so many times that people cook for the love of gathering together and celebration. So I just want you to be very open that Spirit is very involved in our life. And I guarantee you, they know your birthdays. They know the holidays. During the holidays, I always say, take pictures, smile, be joyful, be grateful, take pictures, because they're you'll see like little orbs everywhere. They'll be all around you in those pictures, because they're just having a ball listening to all of y'all talk about crazy stuff. They just have the best time listening. So there's just a few of the 8 main ways. I'll give you a couple extra that most people don't know about, but they can communicate through TV and movies. And it could be that you look at something, you go, that's exactly what my grandmother used to do for a living. And you're like, wow, isn't that a coincidence? They do that. And they also like watching TV and movies with you. That's come up in readings. So you're like, they were gone 30 years. They didn't even know about that movie or those things. But sometimes they do. They don't always hang around, but they pop in. They're multidimensional, so they can be in another realm and also pop in. We can't necessarily, I mean, we can do those things in an altered state, especially when we're in a meditative or rest state, when we're asleep. We could do that. Many times we don't remember, but they can do these things at will because they're spirit. But after all, that's what we are. Once this life that, we want to enjoy it, we want to make the most of it. And when it's all said and done, we are spirit. So that's why I love spirit people, because they don't lie. They're coming from my higher realm and their intentions are pure. So I always, my husband says, you always side with spirit people. And it's true. I do, because they're looking out for us. They care. They see how hard we work and the things we do to provide for ourselves and our families, and how we try to improve ourselves, and how we just try to work through the day and to get the most out of it. And they just want us to be happy. So just know you're loved from above, you're loved here on earth. Don't ever think twice about going for what you want in life and showing people that you love them. And it's always the simple things that matter. And it's always the simple signs and symbols that come through to you. I hope you enjoyed our little time today. Make sure you watch the July 8th thing coming out with me on iconic.com, and that will be with Richard Willett on Classified. And also check out the Galactic Origins cruise, where you can spend 7 days with me. We're going to go to the Mayan ruins. We're going to be doing all sorts of cool stuff. It's just going to be a real love vibe. I'm expecting to do some CE5, and we're going to be going right over the Bermuda Triangle. So hey, beam me up, Scotty. Maybe we can have some our star high level loved ones, the Palladians, the Sirians, Arcturians, they might want to communicate with us. I mean, it would be nice to get a positive message from our star family, and also your angelic holy family above. Thank you, and have a beautiful evening and rest of your day, depending what part of the world you're in. Please subscribe, like, and make comments, and support this channel by becoming a member. Thank you for your continued support.